good morning to you. Welcome. This is Money Monday and my name is Angela Kabete. Money Monday is your go-to show for financial tips and insights on how to grow and expand into your business. Also, we help you unlock our minds into building wealth and success. And today, being on a Monday, we dive into something that is truly transformative when it comes to the world of business. You as an individual, you're aspiring to have a business, or you're having that business but is not growing. This is the right place for you. We're having this amazing topic and conversation, business survival versus growth. And I don't know if you knew this. Starting a business is one thing, but keeping it alive and helping it grow, it's another thing. According to the World Bank, 20% of new businesses fail within the first year. What could be the problem? That is what we are yet to figure out. And 50% fail within the first 5 years. So where is your business? Ukiangalia biashara yako ukirate inakaa kukua wapi? And then in addition to that, in the Kenya data from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics indicates that close to 46% of small SMEs shut down within the first year of operation due to challenges like poor planning, inadequate financing, and market saturation. And let me give you examples, but they're saying that on the other hand, some businesses not only survive, but they experience exponential growth. For example, a company like Safaricom, it began as a small mobile service provider and grew to become East Africa's most profitable company with over 35 million subscribers. And that's a good thing. They started somewhere. And also other businesses that Java House, it started as a small cave, but now it's big even in East Africa. Then we have other brands and companies like Jumia. And in contrast to that, one promising business, businesses that they were so promising but they later failed. Brands like Nakuru Supermarket, it dominated East Africa retail market for decades, but later it collapsed due to challenges like poor debt management and over expansion. And the last one is a brand that is called Deacons of Kenya, a former retail giant that everyone knew, but later they experienced problems like bankruptcy. And that's why today we are having this amazing conversation, business survival versus growth. And today we are having an amazing guest in studio. He's full of experience, wisdom, and great insights on how you can scale your business and make sure that apart from surviving, your business is also growing. His name is Fenwick Maloba, and he's a corporate trainer in the world of business, finance, and entrepreneurship. If you have any question, please feel free to talk to us on 0799200100. That is our WhatsApp number, and still on social media platforms, that is on Facebook and YouTube at Mizpah TV Kenya. Without further ado, allow me to introduce our guest to the show. A very good morning to you.
Good morning, Angela.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
And we are honored that you have created time to be here today.
Thank you too for creating this opportunity so that we are able to educate ourselves on entrepreneurship, on business management and scaling and business growth at large.
Wow. And today we're having this amazing conversation with you in studio, that is business survival versus growth. This is where I want us to start, because our area of focus tutaangalia what makes business survive beyond the startup phase. Then they'll be checking the strategic steps needed for sustainable growth. But I want us to start here. When you say a business is surviving, does that mean that business is healthy or it's unhealthy?
The word survival doesn't mean that it's healthy yet. There are 5 stages of any business. We have got the startup phase, then we have got the survival phase, then you have got stabilization phase, then you have got the growth phase, and then you have got the maturity phase. Now, the growth phase, which is the 4th stage, that never ends. It's always continuing, because even for a company like Safaricom, it's at maturity stage, but it's constantly growing. When it wants to produce a product into the market, for example, they recently introduced a money market fund, something known as ZD. So they are constantly expanding. They started as a communication company, but as time goes by, whenever they see a need in the market, they plunge into that particular need, and that's what has made Safaricom to grow to the level that it is now. The moment it sees a need in the market, it expands into that particular need.
And now help us understand, talking of the survival phase, is there a specific period that a business is supposed to be on survival space, you know?
Thank you for that. Different businesses in different fields or industries will determine the survival phase. There are others that it might take 6 months, others might take 1 year, others might go as long as probably 5 years. Look at this for instance, a real estate company, a real estate business. When you start a real estate business, you need a lot of time to get the clients, to get the customers. So it might take you 2, 3, 4 years. And under that time, you are in a survival phase. Yes, because you are burning cash. To burn cash is you're using a lot of cash vis-a-vis the money that the company is bringing, and so you are basically surviving. By the time you get your first client 1 year down the line, you've used a lot of finances and you are actually just running on debt. Is that healthy for business? Or is it normal, you know? I won't say it's normal, because what we do when you're talking to businessmen, we tell them that before you start a business, you need a clear structure. Like you need to know a clear strategic plan on when can I get my first client, and you do that with research. You can't let emotions dictate what you do. You need to have a clear plan that this is a potential client, and we are going to do steps 1, 2, 3 to get this client, and our second client is likely supposed to come from this particular place. So it's something that you don't do it with emotion, but you do it with structures, with planning, with proper planning. And so with that proper planning, you'll reduce that survival phase to a very short period of time. Now, that I gave you an example of a real estate company. Look at an example like someone selling cereals. If you're selling cereals in a local market, you can't be in survival phase for 2 years. You can't afford to. Why? Because this is a consumer product, and your business budget is slightly small, so you will need customers at a very fast rate. Actually, when you open shop today, you need customers to come in tomorrow or the following day. So different businesses have got different survival phases, and planning and organizing yourself early enough will determine whether that survival phase will be long or it will be short. Wow, I love that. That's great. And on the survival phase, what are the things that you're supposed to focus on as an entrepreneur or as the sole proprietor of that business? The first common thing is cash flow. Without cash flow, any business you'll be out in business. You can't stay in business without cash flow. You need to know, like, we are this month, this amount of money came in, this amount of money was spent, this amount of money went to pay staff. And so, like, without cash flow, you won't have staff. You won't have, if you're selling products, it will be hard for you to outsource. It will be hard for you to deliver the services or the products that you are selling. So cash flow is one of the very core things. The next thing is systems. You can't rely on manual systems when you want to grow past the survival phase. For example, you need a system to acquire customers. You need a system to sell to these customers. Then you also need systems to give you a feedback from the clients. And in the world of business, we have got what we call the funnels, the sales funnel, the marketing funnels. The sales and marketing funnels will help you get a client. Like, it will sieve from a prospective client up to now a customer that you are serving. So you need a constant and functional system that will take a client and serve the client and also get the feedback from.
Wow, that's powerful. And you've mentioned something to do with cash flow. You have said without cash flow management, a business cannot survive. But when it comes to cash flow, I would love you to expand and explain more what you meant by that.
By cash flow, money is the core background, like the core backbone of any business. If whether you are doing a service business or whether you are doing a product business, like those are two broad categories of businesses, service or product. So let's look at a service business, for example, a clothing industry. You want to start a clothing business. What do you need? You need the raw materials. You need to outsource the materials, and I'm assuming that you are not producing, you don't have the complete value chain. Once you grow, you'll have a value chain. But when you're just starting, you're starting small. So I presume that you'll have to buy the stock. You'll have to customize them and brand them if you are going the branding way. You have got rent to pay. You have got a few staff to pay. Then you also you need to do marketing. So all these things require money. And so money has to come from somewhere. After this money has come in, you need to manage this money, so that if you allocated a particular amount of money on sales, for example, that money is used for sales. Another lot of money for marketing, another lot of money for product outsourcing. So when you don't manage this money, you won't have a fluent cash flow. You won't have a fluidity in cash flow. So you'll end up overusing money for products or maybe marketing, or overusing money that was supposed to be for marketing on another thing. And so information about your goods and services won't be able to reach to the to your prospective customers. So effectively managing where money comes from, how money is spent, and like the profits, how are you managing profits to enable you scale. So the whole of that system is what we call cash flow, and it has to be consistent. You rather not take profit home, but money is constantly flowing in business, because many a times 70% of businesses rely on loans,
it's true,
from banks and financial institutions. When you don't have that consistent cash flow, banks won't give you money. Any financial institution won't partner with you to give you money, because they look at that, how much money is coming in and how much money are you using.
And now there's something that has sparkled interest, your part here, making sure that you don't overuse money. Tuseme kama ni pesa ya marketing, hujatumia pesa excess. To strike a balance, what can you do?
When I started my business, a homeschooling business, we were mentioning that, like for a good number of startups, like in Kenya, you don't separate a business account from a personal account. And so when a client pays you, they pay you under your name. And at home, you need to buy flour, you need to pay rent. So you tell yourself, now I have this particular money available, let me just use it to pay rent, and then when another client pays, I'll use that particular money to satisfy, like to fulfill this particular customer. And the client that you are anticipating doesn't show up. So you are left in a hole. Client A has paid, you're supposed to deliver, but you can't deliver because the money that you're supposed to have used, you have used it for personal use. So one discipline that every startup should do is just separate business account from your personal account. Number two, you need to learn about budgeting and financial literacy. We teach businesses that, because money is what will make you grow in a business. So when you're not able to manage this money well, basically by budgeting, this amount of money goes for marketing, this amount of money goes for client outsourcing, this amount of money goes for to satisfy the client. So when that isn't taken care of, the business, the cash flow of the business won't be fluid. And that is why not very established, the first thing that a business does is to hire a finance manager or a finance personnel. You can't go to any successful business and fail to get 1, 2, 3, or even a team of 10 or even a team of 20. Go to Safaricom. They can't lack a team dedicated to finance.
But many businesses, they don't consider that. I don't know why. To those who are watching us, do you have a financial advisor for that business that you have out there? We have 3 minutes. Before we go for a short break. You mentioned every business when it comes to cash flow and everything, and also being part of the survival phase, you must be strategic. And what are the strategic steps that are needed for a sustainable business growth?
Systems. You need systems in place. You need a fully functional system. You offer, for instance, you allow me to use the business of a clothing industry. It's a very common business in our area. You are selling, for example, ladies attire. Now you need a system to enable you get a very good supplier from Alibaba or from Amazon or from whichever platform. So you need a system to outsource the products. You need a system for making sure that those products reach you. You need a system to market, and then you need a system to like an accounting system. The system will make sure that the structures in your business are very well placed. Failure to have a system will require that anytime you have to outsource, you have to go manual. Anytime you have to sell, you have to go manual. Compare yourself with a business or a brand that has automated everything. Their work is just to sit at the end of the funnel and the sales funnel and recognize that today we've had a profit of this. They don't have to go physically to outsource, physically to sell, and physically to brand the particular clothing brand that they're having. So one thing that helps business in the survival is past the survival phase is systems. Just making sure that systems work for your business. Yes.
I know there are people asking themselves out there, does every business need a system, even that small shop?
You need a system. Every business,
even a shop?
Yes, you need a system. And I will briefly explain it to you. Like, a business is a science, and it's governed by laws. Laws are things that you put in place. Laws are automation things. For instance, the law of gravity. And if I release this phone, it will fall down.
Yeah, okay.
And so I don't have to. No, that will take long. Let me come back to systems. When you don't have a system, you will struggle. Why? Because you won't get a client easily, and a system will enable you to get a client, and not one client. Like an efficient system will get you 2, 3, 4 clients. In a situation where if you're not using a system, you'll only get 1 client per week. You need a system to sell. If you don't have a system to sell, you'll struggle to sell. And when you're struggling to sell, you'll struggle to grow in your business. So every single business, even if it's a shop, it requires a system to know where do I get the best supplier, where do I get the biggest market, and how do I sell so that I get the maximum profit. Okay.
So before you go for short break, when you come back, we'll check out, because there are businesses out there. Let me mention an example, like Nakumatt. Walikuwa wameshatoka survival phase. These people, they were all over.
Sure.
But ilifika point and the business shut it down. We really don't know what happened. We will make sure that after this short break, we help our viewers on understanding what to do to make sure that as they are expanding, they don't fail. So for our viewers, in case you have any question when it comes to the business survival versus growth, please make sure that you talk to us on 0799 That is our WhatsApp number, and still on social media platforms, that is on Facebook and YouTube at Mizpah TV Kenya. We're going for a short break, but stay tuned. And welcome back. This is Money Monday, and I'm so glad that you have tuned in this second session. To those who have tuned in right now, today we're having an amazing conversation, an amazing topic that every business, every entrepreneur out there, you really need to have an understanding. That is business survival versus growth. And we are having an amazing guest with us. His name is Fenwick Maloba. He's a corporate trainer in business, finance, and entrepreneurship. And before we went for that last short break for the first session, we talked about survival phase in a business, and this is what he said. Every business, different survival phase is determined by the type and the kind of business that you are having as a person and as an individual. Now, still he told us the things that you're supposed to focus on the survival phase. Number one is cash flow management. Number two, building customer loyalty. So I don't know if then another thing in yamesema ni mambo ya marketing. So these are things that you're supposed to consider as a person and as a business person. Another thing, lastly, that is make sure that you don't have something that you call high operational cost. Make sure that you strike a balance when it comes to that business. So what we're going to check in this second session is transitioning to growth. That is from the survival phase to transitioning to growth. Without further ado, allow me welcome our guest back to the show. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you.
And we're honored to have you for the second session.
A pleasure.
And before we went for a short break, tulikuwa tunaambia watu tukirudi tutaangalia on how to transition to growth, you know, after, because I believe people have fully understood what we mean by the term survival phase and the things that you're supposed to focus on. So what tells a person or a business person it's high time you transition from survival phase to growth?
The first thing that you have to focus on is the team. Most businesses, if not many, whenever they are starting, you start as an individual, and you are 5 or 7 people in one. You are selling, you are marketing, you are producing content, you are doing all those things, and with that you can't grow. So you'll keep surviving until the next step you hire someone to help you with the marketing. This has eaten up your time so that you are able to do something else. Now you've had one person to do one thing, so the next step you hire another person to do another thing. So understand that every time you relieve yourself of some duties, you get more time to think about the business. You remove yourself from the operationalization, and you start thinking about growth. You start thinking about if most of your clients were paying you, for example, 50,000, 100,000 per month for the services or products, your mind frees up and you start thinking, where can I get a client to pay me 200,000?
And now, is there a stage where a business is reached or a business reaches, because you know, wacha tuangalie business yenye iko kwa survival. Sure. Is there a specific stage ikifika, then as an entrepreneur supposed to have this mindset that now it's time to switch to growth? You
will have parameters. You as I mentioned earlier on, a business is a science. So you'll see parameters that will be communicating to you. For example, if you start a business in January and you're serving 1 client, in February you start serving 2 clients, in March you start serving 3 clients, and there is something that we call continuity offers. When you are training businessmen, you offer your clients continuity offers, so they are also called retainers, so that they keep coming. And so if in March you have 3 and in May you have 5 clients, then it's something that should speak to you, that you are gradually growing and you need to get out of the survival phase as much as possible by now bringing in someone to help you with operation, bring in someone to help you with finances, and someone else to help you with probably customer satisfaction, so that your sole mandate as the owner just becomes growth. You start thinking about growth. You start thinking about how do I serve Uganda? How do I serve Tanzania? How do I serve outside the country? And with that now, so the business will give you the steps. You will just see what is happening, and at that time now realize that now it's time for me to start growing, and now you start bringing the right team. Yes.
And let me ask, you know, at that point you're transitioning to growth, or that stage survival phase, many business people have this mentality. I don't know, I want you to help us understand if it's healthy for any business, that if I give discounts and debts, that's also part of growth because I'll have more clients. What do you have to say about that?
It entirely depends with the model of the business model. It reaches a time that you have to give discounts to your clients, especially if a client has been with you for 2-3 years, you have to acknowledge them.
What about the startup, those businesses that are starting?
You also have to. And when you are pricing your goods or services, you've seen, I don't know whether you know that, but this is what supermarkets will do. An item sells at 200. That's the market price. So they'll cross that and write was 220, now 190. So from the buyer's perspective, you've saved some money when you purchased that particular item, but from the supermarket where they see it, they have actually made a profit. So they'll cross 220 and put it at 205. So from the customer point of view, I've saved 5 shillings or 10 shillings, when in real sense you've spent 5 more. Yes, so that's the mindset that businesses do. They to give you a discount. So a business will know that I've given you a discount, but in real sense they have not given you a discount. Yes, so it's just a mindset. Business is mindset and science. So it's a mindset that businesses play, and so if you know that, so you will apply that in your business. If I offer services, I offer education-based services or training services. So when I approach my clients, I tell them that I offer coaching sessions at probably 10,000 per hour. But in July, I have a discount. Now, I know my price is 10, right? So when I approach my client, I tell them that my prices are normally 17, but in the month of May, I have a discount of 12,000. So that now they say, oh, I'll have saved 5. So that way. So you use that approach to perceive customers that you've given them a discount, when in real sense you've just made a sale. You know,
this feels like you're bringing in the art of psychology. You know,
selling psychology. When you and you have to put yourself in the mind of a buyer. What is a buyer thinking?
Wow, as a business person, you put yourself in the mind of a buyer.
Yes. What is the buyer thinking? What people buy? People buy with there's a term I'm looking for. People will buy with the mindset, okay, and then qualify that with logic. Yes. So that mindset that people buy with, you need that mind as an entrepreneur, as a business person. When you have that mindset, there's nothing that you won't sell. Once you know what solution your product is going to offer,
the solution,
yes, with regard to what the customer wants, you'll be able to sell them anything, and it doesn't matter whether it's 10 million or 100 shillings.
They still buy it.
They will still buy it.
Oh, that's interesting. For the business people, I believe that you're learning a lot. Please make sure that we're gonna pen and notebook and tell us, so far so good, what do you think you're going to apply in that business that you have out there, and help us understand. Let's say sasa business imefika sasa, now you have already transitioned into growth, you're that stage of growth. What are the things that you're supposed to focus on?
The market is constantly expanding, and I will take you a little bit back to Safaricom and also give you a few examples in insurance companies. Initially, Safaricom was exclusively a comms company, so calling. Later on, it introduced data. Later on, it introduced MPESA. Later on, it introduced gadgets, their phones and their stuff. Later on, it introduced this Wi-Fi and stuff. And then it has ventured into money market. So one thing that a business or a company has to do is constantly looking at what the market needs. Like, for example, right now, people are going to investing. A lot of people are going to investing and saving.
That's true.
And so that's the avenue that Safaricom has seen, and it has transitioned from being a communication company, and right now it's actually offering money services. Insurance companies are doing the same. Initially, they used to be exclusively, they offer insurance services, but look at what's happening now. They have money market funds. Look at banks. They have money market funds. They have actually graduated also to investing. They have investing products. So a business has to constantly be evaluating itself to look at what the market needs, and it ventures in. Yes.
Before, for a business, before you venture into what the market needs, for how long are you supposed to be reviewing what the market needs?
How fast can you learn as a founder? Yes, and it basically determines how fast as a founder do you have to learn. That's another thing that I'll address when it comes to when you are in the growth phase. COVID came and it killed around 80% of businesses, not only in Kenya, globally. And what did it show people is that you need to be able to go online. So if there's a business right now and it's not online, they're already failing.
Okay, that's one of a sign of failure.
Yes, because right now you can basically, apart from things like real estate, every business you can actually be done online. Be it learning, be it apart from physical, like unaenda kusukwa nywele ama unaenda kuoshea mtu nguo. You can universities, you can in China and in Canada, as learner can learn from preschool to graduation without stepping a single step in class.
It's true, yeah.
Yes, and so as a founder, you need to constantly be looking at where is the market headed to. That open mindset will enable you to grow as a business.
Okay.
Yes,
I love that. For business people, make sure that you have a growth mindset each and every day, and be reviewing what do the market needs. Kunaangalia the gaps in the market each and every day, so that you can be able to offer solutions to the people. And now let's check something that is very critical. Growth is healthy, and actually it's what needed. It is needed in every business. But apart from growth, kuna growth pitfalls. Help us understand what are the possible growth pitfalls in a business, because tukiangalia kama kina Taski, tukiangalia Nakumat, these businesses had grown but they failed.
And I'll just plug in an example of a supermarket that for quite some time has been very stable. Then I'll compare it vis-a-vis what those that didn't work. Look at Gilani's supermarket. It's one of the most stable supermarkets in Nakuru. It has got the highest number of employees. How many branches does it have in Nakuru? One.
One.
How many branches does it have in Nairobi? One, which was opened I think 2 or 3 years ago. And I think also only one in Kisumu. They don't have any other branch. So one thing that many businesses do is to expand too fast.
Over expansion.
Yes, too fast. And you are expanding without systems in place. The moment you want to expand without systems in place, you're gonna crash. I can comfortably carry this table because over time I have grown. I've grown muscles and I've grown the strengths, the ability to carry this. But a baby who is 3 or 4 years cannot carry this table. Why? Because they have not gone through the appropriate growth system to enable them carry this table. And the same thing that happens with business. You are serving, let me say that you're serving 10 clients in Nakuru, and then you suddenly want to open another branch in Nairobi. What will happen is that a business is a baby. They want to be fed. So you'll be taking food that's supposed to be for the Nakuru baby and taking it to feed the child that is in Nairobi.
Yeah, true.
And so the baby in Nakuru, the time that they'll want to eat, they will not have their food because you've taken their food and given to the other baby. Yes. And so we say that a business should sustain itself for 6 months. Yes. And so one thing that will make businesses to fall at a very high rate is that mindset, wanting to scale too fast, without the systems in place, without the appropriate teams in place. Yes.
And you've said that a business need the capacity, the muscles, hizo ndio zina determine kama a business can expand. So mimi kama mwanabiashara, and to those viewers that are watching us, this person has this business and he or she feels like it's high time I diversify. What is the determiner?
You research the market, research your marketer. For instance, you are offering services in Nakuru, but constantly you are getting requests from Nairobi. It reaches a point that in Nakuru you are serving 10 clients, but in Nairobi you are getting 7 clients asking you per month, more than half of what you are serving, then it's a very good indicator that there's potential in Nairobi. So what you could probably do is try to serve the clients that are in Nairobi without having to open an office in Nairobi. That will ensure that you are using your team in Nakuru, you are using your office in Nakuru, you are using the resources that you have in Nakuru to serve those other clients. That will not strain you, so that by the time you start serving in Nairobi, those customers can already pay for office, they can pay for staff, they can pay for other costs that are required to serve while in Nairobi. So one key thing is looking at the market. The market, we serve customers. In business you serve customers, and the customers are the people that will keep you in business. So it's the greatest determinant of whether you should go into another market, whether you should expand, is the need for market.
The need for market.
Yes, the need for market.
I love that. And still on growth pitfalls, is there any connection between the leadership in the business and the growth pitfalls?
The business is the leader. You as the founder, you are the vision bearer of the business. And so for that business to grow, you need to grow. And that's why when we are talking to business owners, one thing that we tell them that know the process, document the process, then delegate the process to someone else, so that you can take yourself out of the business to get time to grow. One of my mentors normally says this, that when you want to know whether you have a business or whether you just have something that sounds like a business, get out of the business for 3 months. Is the business able to survive? If it's not able to survive for 90 days without you, then you don't have a business.
Then what are you supposed to do?
You are supposed to you are supposed to, you are not, as a business owner, you come up with structures, you come up with the business model, and then you're supposed to train the team. Delegation. Basically, I'm talking about delegation
of
yes,
the tasks and
of your
everything.
task, so that you get yourself out of the business to have a clear mind on now how the business can grow. You see, when operating from outside, it will be very easy for you to see there's a challenge here, a challenge here, and a challenge here, as compared to when you are inside. They say that, you see, when you're watching football, I use that as an example, you see a lot of mistakes when you are watching, because you are not in the field. But when you're in the field, you don't see those mistakes. So the same thing applies to a business. When you get yourself out of the business, you'll be able to see, oh, the marketing team has got a challenge, the sales team has got a challenge, the service team has got a challenge, and then now with that mindset, you'll be able to advise them accordingly. But when you are in the business, taking care of the daily running of the business, the business will not grow, because you not have a mindset even to read and research on the growth opportunities and growth potential of your business.
So because it seems that even the people that you have employed and delegated the tasks to, they also participate in the growth of the business, then what are the things that a business person or a person who isn't aspiring to be an entrepreneur is supposed to consider when hiring staff?
Is someone teachable? Is someone teachable? When I'm hiring, for example, for my company, you give me someone who has a degree, and you give me someone who doesn't have a degree, who has a diploma. But through the testing and the interview, I realize that the person who doesn't have a degree is teachable. Teachable is the ability to be told, this will work, this will not work, and then they'll take it positively. So I'll always 7 days in a week and twice on a Sunday take a person who is teachable, as compared to a person is the same thing, growth mindset and a fixed mindset. So when you get someone who is teachable, you can take someone from a communication company, take them to a manufacturing company, for example, and they'll be able to survive
and still adapt,
and they'll still
adapting,
sure because of the mindset that they have. But give me someone who has a fixed mindset, they'll not even survive in the lowest level of business. Yes.
Okay, because actually there's someone who's saying that, if you have this fixed mindset, by the end of the month, nataka tuko tumemake 30,000, you are finding the location, and when you find the location, you're so comfortable, you don't think of growth.
Sure.
Yeah, so for the business people out there, make sure that when you're employing a person, have a person who has a teachable spirit and a person who mwenye akona growth mindset, just like you. And now let's dive into something. Now at least you have understood, you know, that phase here. You have understood the survival phase, and then transitioning from survival to growth. Now help us understand, you know, even after understanding the growth pitfalls that are in a business, the sustainable growth strategies that any business out there can adapt.
Growth strategies.
Yeah.
You I think we've shallowly mentioned about teams and systems. Business people need to invest a lot in their teams. Like your team and your staff is the face of your business in your absence. Like you run a business and you are not there, and when you come back you find that clients were satisfied, they were served and they were satisfied in your absentia. So basically your team is the face of your business. And so one thing that business people and businessmen need to do is to invest heavily in the growth and development of their teams. Let your team know the objectives of your business. Let them know how to serve your customer. Let them know what to do. And it's only then that they'll be able to own the business as their own and make it grow. And that is why business staff and need to be constantly be trained on a lot of things are changing. How you serve customers is changing. How you deliver services is changing. So when business owners, you don't invest in the growth of your team, you as a business won't grow, because the customers, the staff and the people who are serving customers, the face of your business. Now that you will not be there to be selling each and every day, you will not be there to receive calls each and every day. So your team, empowering your team and making your team be part of the business. I've seen this as a strategy that is used by businesses in the US. When they employ you, they don't just give you a salary. They'll give you a salary, but they'll give you part of the ownership into the company. That by itself will ensure that you work 24 hours.
And you own the business.
And you own the business, because you know that when the company makes a profit, that percentage of that profit is your money.
That's a trick. You know, that's a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So don't... this is what I was told. Do you want to own 10% of a watermelon or 100% of a grape? What would you rather have? Is 10% of a watermelon. So when you get your business team to work as a team and they build this very big business and give them a percentage, they will own the business. Someone will wake up at 4 to work, because they are not only working for the 50,000 that you're paying them at the end of the month, but they have ownership. They have equity in the company or in the business. Yes.
Wow, I love that. I don't know why many businesses, they have not been doing that. That's a good trick, you know, to get people to be part of the vision that you have as a person, because they're going to own the business. Before you wind up, you know, I would love you to give recommendation for every entrepreneur out there, a business person out there, aiming to grow a business without collapsing.
Market research. Identify what the market needs. You serve the customer. As a business, you're always serving the customer. The customer is in the market. So you have to understand what is it that the market needs. Failure to serve the market, and the customer basically serves is the core backbone of any business. So you have to be serving the customer at all times. So research. Do a thorough research on the market before you launch, before you expand, before you do any other thing, because at the end of the day you are in the business to serve. And the moment that customer is not satisfied, the moment that customer is not well served, you are out of business. Yes.
Wow, that's powerful. Because time is up, let's put a pen there, but please unaweza ambia watazamaji watakupata wapi, that is on social media, and tell them what you do.
I'm a corporate trainer. We train employees, we train companies and organizations on business strategies, on scale, and on financial literacy. We I'm found by the name Fenwick Cyril on all my handles. I have a YouTube channel that I talk about business and growth, and you can find me on X. You can find me on TikTok under the same name, Fenwick Cyril, and my details will be here with Angela should you need to reach out.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here today and sharing the practical insights. I believe that every business out there, every entrepreneur out there, they're going to put that into practice. Also, for our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in for this amazing segment that is Money Monday. You're always here to make sure that you give you the insights on how you can become financially independent in the future, and also on how you can make sure that your business grows each and every day. Until next time, keep making money moves that matter. My name is Angela Kabete. God bless you abundantly.